Yeah. You know, there's some drinks, alright, that just deserve their own soundtrack. Yeah. And this right here is the perfect mix. Hold up, cuz. Grandma, you ain't tell. What you waiting on? Yeah.
Welcome back. This is Cognac Conversations. I am Joseph Ward, and as always, I'm accompanied by two outstanding gentlemen, Mr. Maurice Love, Mr. Caleb Davis. How y'all doing today, gentlemen?
Well, I'm good. We good. What's going on?
Yes, sir. And if you don't know, together we make up Klassik status. And as you know, right. Cognac Conversations is a gentleman's roundtable conversational where we, on a weekly basis, talk about issues that affect men and in turn, issues that will affect the larger society or the larger environments around us because we live in a patriarchal society and because we live in a male-dominated society. So sit back, relax, and let your mind be titillated. Yes, and I did say titillated by the information that we spew into your cerebral cortex, my brother.
You better preach this morning, boy.
So today we want to talk about a very, very, very important topic, a topic that's rarely talked about, and that's men and their emotions. Men being taught how to deal with their emotions and how that plays into healthy masculinity and a man's self-esteem. Why aren't we talking about the self-esteem of men? Do we not care? Does it not matter? I mean, these are things that we should be thinking about now that, you know, in the past we never really even cared about, the self-esteem of men. Start out last week with Caleb. So, Maurice, I want to start with you this week. Why do you think we do not concentrate on the self-esteem of men and teaching young men, males when they're boys, teaching them how to control their emotions or even recognize their emotions so when they become men, they can actually handle and express themselves?
Man, I think that's a good question, man. I think we do a lot of, especially for young boys, man, we massage their egos to the point where they learn at a young age they have to be tough. They can't really show real emotion. And when they get older, when they do have to channel certain emotions, they don't necessarily know how to, for the sake that they hadn't had a chance for those particular emotions to be harbored as they grew older and older, so they knew how to kind of channel certain emotions in different situations. So I think I don't know if society as a whole doesn't really care about a man's self-esteem. I just don't think we do a good job helping young boys channel those emotions properly. So when you see them get older, they hold off certain emotions, and they don't know how to express certain emotions properly. And in turn, a lot of that stuff, when it builds up and turns into anger, and they tend to lash out at certain situations because they don't know necessarily how to harbor certain emotions.
Right. Caleb, same question to you. What's your take on it? Do you think we're doing a bad job teaching men how to express themselves, or are we not paying attention to it at all? What's your thoughts?
I think Maurice is exactly right. He hit on a lot of valid points. I just echo what he's saying because I totally agree with him. As little boys growing up, we are made to not be weak, and you're not supposed to show emotion. You're not supposed to cry. And I think they even made songs, about the old song, "A Man Ain't Supposed to Cry." So we've kind of been made to believe that all we're supposed to be as men are just this strong, dominant figure. When there's so many balances to how we are to be as men. We have to be sensitive as well. We have to be caring, considerate, as well as the tough, blue collar, hard worker, no BS taking individual. So I mean, it's all a balance thing that we need to We need to teach our kids, and we need to try to instill in them, just a balance of emotions. And I think that may be what is lacking. That on a more general perspective, on the whole, I know not every boy is raised that way, but I know on the whole, I believe a lot of guys are just taught, be tough, suck it up, walk it off. But if your daughter is crying or something, you say, oh, baby, what's wrong? It's okay to cry, cry on daddy's shoulder. But if your son crying, it's like, hey, boy, shut up, toughen up, be quiet, go in there and, do the dishes. Or, it's just the outlet we give for the females, the ladies. But if your little boy is, crying or something, it's something we see as negative or weak.
Yeah, and to me, I think for the larger part, especially when we're dealing specifically with men, everywhere a young boy turns, there are those unhealthy messages surrounding him that are more abundant than the healthy messages. Because, like, for example, if I don't grow up in a household where my father is, and my mother is telling me when I'm 5 I'm the man of the house. So since you're going to make me the man of the house at 5, then automatically I can't even cry already.
Right.
You do put male responsibilities on me. Or if I do live in the house with my father, and he's one of those men who don't understand that there has to be a balance in emotions. And every time I cry, I get in trouble. You have to expect that when I get older, that I'm not going to be able to interact on a healthy basis with women who are emotional people, who are taught that it's okay to be emotional. And these are things that I don't understand. We are human beings. We have the full range of emotions. And we should be able to express our emotions. But let me get your guys' take on this. Do you think that in some environments, not all, but some environments, that it's actually better or safer for the man to mask his emotions for survival means rather than to express himself? Like, if you grow up in a certain neighborhood, and if you express all your emotions in this neighborhood, you're gonna be looked at as a little girl, and we're gonna basically gonna do what we want to do with you. Do you guys think that ties into a lot as far as images and things that the larger society hones in on? Because that's not something that happens across the board, but it is something that happens. But do you think that that's what society hones in on more so than the regular narrative that men can express themselves in the full range of emotions?
Oh yeah, I think in certain perspectives, like you were saying, coming up in the hood or something, and your guys or your best friends, your homies look at you in a certain situation that you ain't supposed to cry. You're kind of taught to mask it. You're taught to hold it back. I don't want to seem soft to my friends. As a young kid, I know I dealt with that. You don't want to cry, man. You playing football or something, and you take a hard hit, man, and that thing hurt, but you like, you trying to hold it in, man. So it's a lot of different perspectives, man. Or I don't want to go to the extreme, but I mean, man, if you came up in a rough neighborhood and you might have saw one of your friends get, murdered or something. And man, it's tough, man. In some instances, some cats might be like, man, I ain't crying. I'm gonna just go get revenge and kill them cats that hurt my guy. Or it just, some cats might let it out. So, it's just different perspectives and different outlooks on it. But I think in some instances we are, taught to mask it and man up. So it's wild like that.
I don't think, man. Honestly, and I think a lot of times we'll mask it because society will prey on the weak, man. They see these certain emotions. They see you harbor certain emotions or project certain emotions, and they'll take advantage of it. You can allow yourself to. It's not necessarily that we don't show it or won't show it. Like Caleb was saying, if you out in your neighborhood, you didn't want to be the guy that cried after you took a hard hit. Granted, you have a broken leg.
Right.
Know what I mean? You're sitting there, man, I got a broke leg, but I can't cry because are they going to look at me as I'm soft? But when the reality is, hey, man, you got a broke leg. You're probably supposed to be crying. So yeah, like, but society, man, society will put that on you, man. That for whatever reason, man, as a man, that's not okay for you to show that certain emotion. And I know for myself, I've been in certain situations where I knew I was like, man, I probably should be crying right now, but it's too many people around. I cannot do it. I won't do it. And I think as men, I think we hold on to that, and we hold on to the perception that we have to keep that that alpha male, push your shoulders back, stick your chest out persona, so society won't look at you as frail.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I agree. And see, that's why I asked that, because we do know the reality is you will be looked at as less than. You will be looked at as weak and all these other things if you do express yourself fully. You will, by other men and by women as well, by some women as well. Because we've all known guys that when we grew up who were more in tune with their emotions, and those are the guys who, when it comes to football and all other stuff, it just wasn't there. And we grew up with an athlete's mentality as well. I'm an athlete.
Yeah.
I'm tough. I have to be this. But and I think that's why we're surprised sometimes when we're looking at certain people, especially athletes, and we look behind the scenes on them, and dude play violin, and you like, what? He played violin and he's soft. What kind of man be sewing and stuff, Right. But really think about that mindset though. You mad at him? You calling him less than because he's soft.
Yeah.
Right.
To me that's the problem. We're not we're so fixated on being tough we can't even be human.
Right. And it's something that's so different or it's so polar to what you do, you look down on it. It's not even something that's really bad, negative, or something like that. It's just opposite to what you do. You know what I mean? That's a lot of things we do. Like anybody who is not going the norm or not doing something that we're, accustomed to, it's almost like, what is wrong with you? You something wrong. You weird. And we look down on it like it's negative, but it's just different. Doesn't mean it's bad. It's just different.
Yeah. And I think that's a sign of, like you said, I think that's a sign of a man, especially who's better in tune with his emotions. He's okay with somebody calling him whatever the case may be, because, like you said, if it's the polar opposite of something that you do yourself, you're not going to understand it, and now you're going to automatically assume, for whatever reason, this person is soft or he's weak or whatever the case may be. When the reality is, he's probably more in tune with his emotions than you are, and you probably need to be more like him, so you ain't going crazy, because we can hold on to those emotions, and then we don't know how to channel them correctly, and it turns into violence, and it turns into whatever the case may be, depression, because you're harboring all these emotions that you don't know what to do with.
Right. So, and see, that's exactly what I was just going to say. I mean, it's going to manifest itself in an unhealthy manner down the road. Let's just be honest. Because think about the rate that men die earlier than women, just based off the stuff that we suppress because we got to be hard.
Mm-hmm.
I have real serious health issues, but I got to be hard, so I can't really show it, and I can't go to the doctor, even though it's blood in my pee or something like that.
Right.
Yeah, we take extreme measures. Yeah, and then when it comes, like you said, when it comes to actually interacting with women who are taught from day one that it's okay to express yourself and be in tune with your emotions. So they say, if they label it as we are emotional creatures. So guess what? You need to learn how to deal with your emotions if you're going to deal with emotional creatures. Just point blank period.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that helps balance it out too. When say you as a man, you trying to be all hard and the woman might be a little more emotional, man, and you have to use, kind of counterbalance those feelings to where the woman can nurture you and you learn from her maybe how to use your emotions to express yourself. And I mean, she may learn from you how to, attack things a little more aggressively or more strategically the way a man would, or however you want to, put it or whatever. So, I mean, there's a lot we could learn from the opposite sex too on how to control our emotions or express our emotions.
Right. So I mean, one of the biggest things that I see is the self-esteem of men, like we were saying earlier, the self-esteem of men. So, how do you guys think that not being able to express our emotions ties into us having low self-esteem?
I think, honestly, man, if you're not in tune with certain emotions, it's hard for you to be confident in who you are overall. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So if you only project a certain persona or a certain image to the outside realm, and you don't even know how to digest what you have internally, it's hard for you to project that, and your self-esteem on a whole is going to falter because of it. So you project this image of this alpha male, but one of the favorite quotes I read was the worst thing about being strong is nobody knows when you're hurt.
Right.
And so people always think, that's a confident dude. He's always in a good mood, whatever the case may be. When in reality is when you go home, you're depressed, you're dealing with anxiety, all of these other things. So you don't necessarily, your self-esteem might be low, but when you step outside of your house, the image is something totally different.
Right.
So I think it's a matter of being in touch with certain emotions, understand like, hey, it's okay to be sad sometimes. Yeah, and then and being able to have a certain approach so people know, hey man, you might need some help with this. It's okay for you to talk to other people. So I mean, I think it'll help overall with your self-esteem.
Yeah. Yes. Because like you said, I think one of the most important things you said is your self-esteem is tied into your overall image, and your emotions are also tied into your overall image. And we are too often taught that it's okay to just be one way. Like anger is the only emotion you're supposed to be able to express as a man. Be angry all the time, and if you're not angry, then something wrong with you. But if you're angry all the time, then something is really wrong with you. I'm scared of you now. So where's the balance now? Because you spent so much time teaching me that it's okay to be angry, and now that I'm angry all the time, you can't take it. And see, that's the hypocrisy that I get from the society when it comes to us is, which way do you want us to be?
Right.
Make your mind up. Because me personally, I want to be whatever's best for me. That's the lane I'm going to be in. But when I'm a young man, and I may not have the right people around me, or I may have good people around me, but people who just brought into these stories or the normal narratives, so I have no idea how to truly express myself. And now every time I'm getting into challenging situations, or if something makes me mad, all these things, I'm having issues.
Right, and it's all about balance at the end of the day. Like in the Bible, it says there's a time and a place to behave a certain way and to do a certain thing. So, I mean, when you got a situation where you have to be forceful and you have to be angry, I mean, there's a time that calls for that. But at the same time, there's going to be a moment when you have to, fall back, when you have to be caring, when you have to be apologetic, which is really hard, sometimes when you have to be vulnerable, which for men I know can be really hard. So like it's all about balance, in my opinion. At the end of the day, whatever the time calls for your emotion or how your attitude should be towards a situation, that's what's most important. Balancing those emotions and using the appropriate one at the appropriate time.
Right. Yeah. So let me ask you all this, because it popped in my head as we're talking about the unhealthy masculinity or things that can come from that, especially when I don't know how to express myself and when I'm in environments that is conducive to my unhealthy behavior. Now, I haven't read all the details of the story, but it just makes me think about the Peyton Manning story that's out right now.
Right.
From what I've gathered from the story, they're basically covering up his insane behavior, his sexual predator behavior, alleged sexual behavior.
Yeah.
The sexual predator behavior, because I don't have all the details, but from what I ran across in the story, he's doing some very despicable things with his genitals and people's faces and all these things with women, and how he talked to them, and basically somebody didn't give him some, so he got mad, allegedly.
Right.
So how do you guys think that with the stuff we're talking about now, men not being able to express themselves, men in low self-esteem, do you think if his story is true, this is a classic example of what happened when you teach men to be only inside the certain man box?
Woo. Go ahead, Quay.
Yeah. Now, I would say, bro, that's a tough one. Because since we're using the Peyton Manning example, one could be taught, with low self-esteem, maybe to behave in that manner. But I could also see an individual who's overzealous, arrogant, conceited to behave that way as well, to be like, I'm the star athlete on this campus. You gonna do whatever sexual favors I want from you because you know who I am, So it could be a high self-esteem case, or it could be, low self-esteem. I feel so down on myself, I'm going to just take out my frustrations on this lady, on this woman, and make her do what I want to do because that's the only joy. That's the only happiness that can fill this void I have, is being a sexual predator, allegedly, or whatever you want to call it. So it's kind of, man, it's almost both sides of the spectrums in this type of example. I could say, that could lead to a man, an individual acting out, in this type of way. And it's, it's scary because it's like, which one do we battle? Which one do we fight? And I think the answer is really both. You have to combat both of those mentalities that can poison.
Yeah, I think that's a tough one, man. It's hard to say because we don't know the extent. Like you said, everything's alleged at this point. It's hard to say what the motives or behind it are, and to say what at what level the self-esteem has to do with it in particular. But if I just had to go out on a limb and say, yeah, man, if it were me, just being on a fly on the wall, say, man, it's the arrogance, man. Because, we hear it time and time again, and we've seen I don't know how many instances of this nature when it comes down to these alleged sexual assaults and cases of that nature. Being a high-profile athlete, especially in college and the professional level, you almost feel like women are indebted to do certain things for you because of your stature. And right. I think they carry a certain esteem. Like, like you said, do you know who I am? And right. It almost befuddle you for them to tell you no. And so, and a lot of these guys, they end up forcing themselves on these women, and not to say that's every case. Like I said, this is all of the stuff that's coming out now. It's alleged. We don't know the extent. The case is brand new. But just on the surface, we'll just say generically, it's easy to say, to whatever extent these guys attain a certain stature, and then just believe that they're owed these things. And right. where do you develop that esteem to be like, well, I am who I am, so you owe me what I asked for. And like, how do you develop? Where do they develop that mind frame? I don't know if it's a money thing, which also ties into one's esteem when you I mean, you accomplish and gather so much money. I mean, you turn into something else that'll take you to another level. But I mean, this one I just don't know. But I think that has a lot to do with it, man. Like that a person's stature, man, can also tell you a lot about their self-esteem.
Well, see, that's what I was going to say, because to me, when a man, when you got a dude who's a high-profile athlete and he expect people to give him some stuff, to me, that's a classic example of him having low self-esteem. Because, I think if we take a step back and we really look at the realm of athletics, we have a lot of men, let's just stick with realm of athletics. We have a lot of men in this realm who have low self-esteem, but it's masked because their behavior is acceptable behavior. Their behavior is seen as either, okay, well, it's just boys will be boys, or, hey, man, that's just what men do. Men do things like that and stuff like this, and it's acceptable within that realm. And the realm that is not acceptable in is the one that's looked at as less than. Because to me, like we're saying, if some of these things that they're saying about this particular case and some of these other cases, I mean, like with these other athletes, these issues that they're having, especially with women, to me, it goes back to classic cases of low self-esteem. I mean, I could be wrong, but that's what it seems to me, because if a man's self-esteem is high, is intact, I don't think these are the actions he would be taking. That's just my take on it.
Yeah, and I can understand that too, man. Because like you said, a lot of that can be masked behind what they've attained.
Right.
You can mask that behind money, cars, whatever the case may be. Women, you can mask that easily behind those stuff you attain. So I get that.
Yeah, that's like I was saying. It could really be both sides of the spectrum that could be attacking. You got the low self-esteem guys who, just don't feel as though they have any hope in life, or don't feel there's any other joy they can have other than hurting people. I know a famous quote I've heard before, that hurt people hurt people. So they feel bad, so I have to take out my pain on other people. And then, like I was saying, on the other side, overly confident guys who are just arrogant and, like Doc, you say, just feel I am owed this. My position demands this, and my stature and what I am. You will be inferior to me. You are my subordinate. Give me this. So I really feel like it goes two ways, kind of.
Yeah, it's an unfortunate situation that we're in, that we have here. And I mean, because to me, it's just, our culture is just sick. Our culture is vile. It's a societal thing that people don't want to deal with, because they've grown comfortable. They are accustomed to being able to get away with whatever, and it's norm. It's the norm now. And why is it okay for this stuff to be the norm? Why is it okay for me to have an unhealthy relationship with myself as a man, just to be a man?
Yeah,
I think that goes.
Man.
Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead, Reed.
No, I was saying, I think that just go back to not learning how to channel those correct emotions, man, and it'll reflect in your self-esteem. So when you learn, when you're not taught, or don't have the guts to tell somebody, hey, I'm having an issue, it's going to reflect in your overall image, which ultimately is a part of that self-esteem issue. So it turns, like we said, it manifests itself into something else. You don't see it at an early age because you don't understand it. And I think when it turns into something else, and then people are like, well, what the heck happened? I was like, well, there were all these circumstances surrounding this guy's emotional makeup. He never talked to nobody. He never had nobody to go to. And even, he was taught to be tough. And then when they get older and it turns into any and everything else you can imagine. And I mean, we play like well, we didn't know what like this was gonna happen. You've seen it time and time and time again.
Yeah, yeah, and
Right,
then society nowadays, man, and the generation we live in, as far as technology is concerned, plays such an influential role in the way these kids are building their self-esteem. We look at Instagram and Twitter with these selfies and everything, man. These kids got at school with with cyberbullying, and I mean it's so many external factors, man, that can people build you up, man, and people tear you down. You know what I mean? With the athletes, you get probably so many compliments, man, as a college athlete, and everybody's building you up into this superstar, but at the same time, I mean, if you mess up, if you do something bad, you got a bad reputation, people tear you down. So, I mean, with this generation, man, and everything is so public now, man. I mean, everybody with a cell phone is a reporter. You know what I mean? So it's paparazzi. So,
but to me,
everybody's taking your picture and commenting and tweeting and so many factors, man, can deter a young man from feeling good about himself because all the girls liked his picture because he got the nice clothes and the chains, and man, I ain't got many followers as he does. Maybe I'm not cool, you know what I mean? So it's so many factors, man, that can affect our children in this generation that we gotta be that positive voice for them.
But see, to me, when we take that route, that when we point our fingers back to them damn parents. Why the hell your 6-year-old got an iPhone 6?
You're right.
No, I'm saying, why do you take a different picture of your damn child every day to get likes? Why you telling your child to pose your 6-year-old? So when your 6-year-old turn 12, look what you taught your child, that narcissism is okay. Yeah. It's okay to feed your ego. And if you a dude, not only do you got low self-esteem, but you egotistical now.
Yeah, it's cancerous, man.
I mean, cause come on, like, because when we talk about that, all right, let's go back to what the hell is going on in your household, like, because there is no way that you don't know that your child on the internet bullying somebody else. Why don't you know that?
Absolutely.
In your house, that in the stuff that you paying for. Like, you mean to tell me because when you really come to think about it, these are the underlying factors that really affect our children, especially our male children, though. Especially our male children, because when we talk about violence against women, and we talk about there is so much violence against women, but nobody want to deal with the issue. We keep putting band-aids on the issue rather than dealing with it. Why the hell is it okay for us to have a society where women aren't safe, or even men aren't safe? Young boys ain't safe.
Yeah, it's not. It's not okay.
But hell, the same. Let's say, all right, the mama tell the son, well, you can't listen to this song talking about beating up these girls and all these things. You can't listen to this song, but I'm gonna go buy you Grand Theft Auto 5, where you can actually beat up the girls and listen to other types of songs, and then rob prostitutes and all that stuff there.
Yeah. That's what I was saying, man. There's so many external factors that can manipulate these kids and alter their thinking into, I have to be what this cat on Instagram looks like, because look at all the likes he has, look at all the followers he has, look at all the compliments he gets. You know what I mean? And like you said, bro, it's the parents where we gotta step in and say, okay, look, this is not what you have to be. You be yourself. You are a unique individual. You're special in yourself. It has to be that learning ear that tells them you don't have to be what social media says you have to be.
I think that go back to, man, like you said, having that positive reinforcement. If you got that positive reinforcement at home, like you said, there's no way in the world you shouldn't know what's going on in your own household with your child. And that, the genetic makeup of a child, not necessarily genetic makeup, but like the morale of a child, a lot of that, the majority of it should be taught right in your household. They're gonna be exposed to so much outside influence to the point that you cannot shelter these children from everything.
Right.
I think, but as a parent, you have to be able to know, okay, well, I need to instill in my child that he or she, and I know we mainly talking about little boys, but necessarily in children, period, that he or she should know that they are special in their own right, no matter what social media says, no matter what society says, because they're going to be told different when they step outside of that house. It's always going to be a negative influence to these children or to in society, period. I mean, society just got so negative, it's ridiculous. Like you said, everything is technology driven. These kids get on here, they bullied by somebody they'll never meet in their life. But what it does to them, we don't understand what it does to them when they come home and then they have to sit and think about this stuff. Well, somebody called me fat on the internet. Somebody called me stupid on the internet. And they probably don't even know who these people are. Yep. I saw a video just the other day, man, and it broke my heart, man, to be honest with you. It was a little boy. He was sitting, I don't know if it was his mom, his sister, or a neighbor or something like that, and he was telling her he wanted to die. And he couldn't be no more than like 6 or 7. And she was like, well, why? He was like, well, I don't have friends. She's like, when I go to school, some people talk to me and some people don't. Sometimes they talk to me, sometimes I don't. And it just hurts my feelings. He's like, I just want to die. And she was like, well, why? And he said, because if I die, I don't have to deal with it anymore. I don't have to feel like I don't have any friends. Yeah. And I was like, man, for a child to say they wanted to die, do you know what kind of influence or what had to be going on in his head?
What the hell aren't his parents telling him?
I don't know.
Like
That's
from
crazy.
day one. Like from the time you pull your child out the womb, you supposed to be telling them how beautiful and worthy they are and how much you love them and how much power they have within themselves. Like,
absolutely.
That's my thing. That's what I don't get. Like, what the hell is wrong with our society that we not giving our children the love that they need from the beginning, so when they do grow up, they can be healthy individuals and exist. I mean, you can't tell me that the stuff on your cell phone or the bullshit that come on TV is more important than raising a healthy child. Like, you can't tell me. Like, I was at a summer camp. I was with a counselor at a summer camp a couple years ago, and the chick was live. She was fine in the mug. So, you know, she come in, she the one that all the dudes be like, hey, man, there she go, she back. You know, she that fine. But every time she come in, she on the phone. Like, every day. We talking about over 100 days. Not 100 days, my bad, 'cause it's the summer, but so, like, over a 2-3 month period, she on the phone every day. And then certain days, your son come to the camp with the same clothes on 2-3 days. Stuff like that. And we talking about young boys.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then they getting picked on for wearing same clothes and smelling like cheese and stuff.
Right.
So this is not helping their self-esteem at all.
No, man, the cell phones is raising them, man. You know, it's a lack of communication. You know, I think that's like one of the most important factors in life, man. Just communication and having that talk as a parent to a child and a relationship, whatever it may be, man. Communication, when that is lost, we lose a society, I believe, and we let mobile devices raise us now. And they tell us what the norm is and what we're supposed to be, which is bad.
Right.
Yeah, that's what, and like we were saying, man, I think that's a lot of why these kids don't know how to, especially little boys, they don't know how to harbor these emotions, man. Nobody's sitting there telling them, like, it's okay, man. It's okay to be sad. It's okay to be upset. It's okay to be angry. It's okay to be emotional. I mean, like you said, these are human emotions. We're all going to experience them in our lifetime. But when you feel upset, you should do this. When you feel sad, you should do this. It's just like, okay, you're gonna have these emotions, but now what? Give me a practical approach to say, all right, when you get this upset, try to take a deep breath, do this X, Y, Z. Nobody's having that. They're not having these conversations. And so when you get older, like we were saying, it turns into something else.
Yeah.
But they see all of this stuff, like you said, on social media and this, that, and the third. And the thing I hate the most is to see these fighting videos. And they pick these kids watching this, and like you said, they getting likes from it. I'm like, man, this is ignorant. I don't get it.
Man, the most ignorant stuff get the most views and likes and stuff, man. It's I mean, think about it. This is the same people who made Maury Povich famous and Jerry Springer famous too.
Yeah.
So all it was is they noticed that all this ignorant stuff was being recognized on TV and just moved it to the social media thing. And I don't want to be the one that beat up on social media, because I think social media brought out what was already sick in society that we couldn't see, because 15 years ago we couldn't contact each other like we can now on the social media stuff. So I didn't know you was that damn crazy.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But now, now I see you every day, like the stuff that you have to do every day. Like, okay, yeah, you was cool, but now, social media brought out the ills of society, I think.
Yeah, man. Yeah. It's a crazy imagery, man, but it could be as dangerous as giving a gun to a kid, and the stuff a kid could do on the phone, and like we were talking about with the bullying or whatever, man. It could be dangerous in some hands. It could be detrimental to a kid's mental, makeup, man. You could just, kids, like you said, man, commit suicide off of what somebody said on the phone.
Right.
That's detrimental to a life, man. It's like giving a kid a gun.
Yeah, man. I mean, come on, man. Like, but see, to me, that's where as parents, you got to be more tuned in to what's going on.
I agree with that. Absolutely.
Because I'm gonna be real with you, man. Because I'm gonna do my best to teach my son how to express himself and have the self-esteem and all these things here. But don't let my son come tell me that your son or somebody's son and told him this and this. I'm coming to your house. I know I'm a little off track, but I'm gonna come knock on you, man. But and because these parents got to start nipping this stuff in the bud, man. Like, because I should be able to call you up and be like, hey, man, look here, this is what's going on with our kids. But the response shouldn't be, oh, F you this, F you that, you stupid, this stupid. Like, it shouldn't be, the confrontational response shouldn't happen. You should, okay, this is what's going on. All right, well, let me deal with this, because this is what's going to help these kids get better as they grow. And I know, I'm just playing to mama show up to your house, but that's what it make you want to do. Like, just go kick somebody's door.
At least make a phone call.
Yeah,
at least make a phone call.
Throw a garbage can through their window or something.
Especially if you know what's going on. You got to know what, like you said, man, you got to know what's going on. It's easy to nip a lot of this stuff in the bud if you know what's going on. We can end it before it even really starts. But it's a matter of knowing, you just got to know what's going on. And that comes with having a healthy relationship with the child as well. Right. You don't have a healthy relationship with the kid. I mean, like you said, like sometimes they just go in the room, close the door, and get to the computers and the laptops and the TVs and whatever the case may be. And y'all might talk throughout the day, but if you don't know what's going on, it's hard to nip it in the bud if you don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
You gotta have that open dialogue.
But see, once again, if you haven't been taught a healthy relationship with yourself, as a young person, when you become a parent, how do you know how to have a healthy relationship with your child? Mm-hmm. And see, it still comes back to get you later on down the road.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's also.
Man,
Go ahead, bro.
Go ahead, bro.
No, I think it's just really it's a maturation thing too. It's hard too, man, because I'm thinking what you're saying, Joe. With you don't have that teaching coming up as a kid, so it's kind of like, okay, now here comes this transitional wave where, well, I didn't have this growing up with my self-confidence and self-esteem. How am I going to pass this on to my child? And it's almost like the same pattern, will be repeated. From how you were raised, now that your child is not giving a damn or is giving too much of a damn and thinking about suicide.
Right.
I think it's easy, man. I think just having something simple as somebody to talk to, and we don't have like certain people we can confide in. I think that's that's healthy, man. We don't think about it at the time. Like you said, if you never had the opportunity to learn it yourself, how do you teach it to your child?
Mm-hmm.
You have to be able to know that talking helps a lot. And I myself, I had the harbor. I held on to a lot of stuff, man, till I was about 25, 26 years old, man. And I had to learn, like, man, you gotta let this stuff out. It's gonna make you sick. So,
absolutely.
I think that's the easiest way, man. People just gotta know, man, they can talk, and a lot of emotion. I mean, it helps. It helps a lot. Yeah, you feel a lot of weight lifted off your shoulders when you start talking.
Absolutely.
Right. Man, hey, that's, like I say, these are things that I hope us as, individual men start to impart on not just the guys that we come in contact on a regular basis, but our children, because these are conversations that men need to start having when we by ourselves. Like, we really do need to start having these real types of conversations. It ain't always got to be about sports or some girls or something. We got to start talking about how we feel as men, as individuals, how we feel about ourselves, because that matters. I mean, if I'm supposed to be your homeboy, like, I don't just have to know how angry you are, how tough you are. I mean, damn, I want to know if you're healthy too. Is everything okay?
Yeah. And we need that, man. It's nurturing and it's beneficial to further our relationship. Make it even better. So I know what you're going through, and maybe, bro, I can help you, and then we get over it together. It helps, man. It helps to open up and just to be more vulnerable at times and be more receptive to what's going on.
Yeah. I think it's unfortunate we only hear about this stuff when it's got real bad. The situation's gotten real bad. It's like, now you tell me? You could have told me a long time ago. We could have went through this together. And I think we just need to know that we have people surrounding us that, that love us and care about our well-being. And I guess once we start to realize that, it's a whole lot easier,
Mm-hmm.
Right. Hey, man, like I say, it's something that's very, very, very important to me in my eyes that we need to talk about more on a regular basis, because unconsciously we're often promoting these unhealthy characteristics, these unhealthy things. Because I mean, like, honestly, how many men actually check their homeboys when their homeboys out of pocket? Especially dealing with women and all types of stuff. How many folks really check their homeboys?
Right. We'll be like, hey, that's their problem.
Right.
Or they egg it on.
I don't want to get in that.
Or you egg it on, like, yeah, man, I would have did the same thing. No, you wouldn't. No. You just saying that because you're just your partner. No, you wouldn't.
Right.
So, hey, man, to me, like I say, these are things that we need to pay attention to on a regular basis. We got to change the narratives, man. We got to be able to get to a point to where men and women are existing in the healthy state. But before men can exist in a healthy state with women, we have to be able to exist in a healthy state with ourselves. When we looking in the mirror, man, I got to love what I see.
Right.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And I think the moral of the story, man, as far as with the self-esteem and feeling better about ourselves, is communication, man. We have to be more open, not to everybody, but just find that one or two people that you trust and you feel you can be open to and confide in them, man, and trust in them. And I honestly feel that will help us. That will help us as young men and older men to be better and set better examples and just to be more complete as a man, not just a strong, powerful man, but also, the sensitive and caring, considerate guy also that our families need.
Yeah.
Just open lines of communication.
I totally agree, man, because I know I got one person in particular, man. I know if I didn't have this person to just vent feelings to, my emotions to, I'd be halfway crazy, man. So I totally agree, man. You gotta have that, be able to have open conversation with somebody that's gonna listen. You gotta find somebody who can really listen to you and just know you can express those emotions to them. So I agree, man.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's where we need to be as growing from young men into full grown men. We gotta be able to express ourselves, and we need to get the right people in our lives, like you said, that's gonna allow us or be an aid to us being able to express what's on our minds, what's in our hearts. So that way we can go from one step to the next and be able to be fully healthy beings, even 50, 60, 70 years down the line.
Absolutely.
You know. With that being said, any last parting shots before we wrap this up, gentlemen?
I'm good, man.
No,
Just
man,
happy
I think everything good.
Yeah, just happy to have another great discussion with a round table of great guys, man. I'm just happy we could do this.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Remember, love yourself.
Looking forward to next week.
Love yourself, people. Love yourself. He's Caleb Davis. He's Maurice Love. I'm Joseph Ward. Together we're Klassik Status, and this is Cognac Conversations. And if you don't know, now you know. So I want to give a round of applause to us and what we got going on. You know what I'm saying?
There you
that
go.
Round of applause.
There you go. I like that.
Just had to do that, man, because it's in there. We got to feel good about what we do, man. So with that being said, this Cognac Conversations, 2 fingers up, split like a player. See y'all next week.
Peace.
Yeah. You know, there's some drinks that just deserve their own soundtrack. Yeah. And this right here